When the Romans left Gaul, they left the administration of the country in the hands of Frankish kings. A count was installed in each town and given financial, military and judicial authority. Groups of counts were placed under the authority of a duke, whose primary responsibility was military.
A countship is a portion of land, you know, and the count was always vassal of somebody else. By example, the Count of Flanders was vassal of the King of France, and in time of war he had to come with an army, with troops, with soldiers, and go and help the king.
The citadels were built at the express desire of the Sun King, Louis XIV. Sébastien le Prestre du Vauban was one of the world's greatest military engineers. Born in the 17th century, he revolutionized the art of siegecraft and defensive fortifications. A testimony to his great achievements is the fact that much of his architecture still stands today, as we see here in Le Quesnoy. But Vauban was an unusual man of war.
Vauban was not like the people of his time, in fact. He was very human. He was an engineer, but he said, when you make war, you should try to do so that people, there are not too many victims. So he wanted always to protect soldiers. Of course, when he had to fight, there were people killed everywhere. But he said, that's not the problem. We should try first to protect soldiers and to protect the builders too.
You know that Vauban even in one citadel builds a chapel on the very top of a bastion, because he supposed that nobody will attack the citadel at this high place because of the chapel.
The citadels resemble star-shaped pentagons with thick walls of stone embedded with earth. Vauban's reasoning was that if a cannonball was shot at one of his earth-filled walls, it was like a pillow absorbing the blow. He also built flat citadels that seemed to disappear in the landscape, and on top of the bastion he planted trees, so it looked exactly like a small city and you couldn't see the fort. But you can't miss this one at Ambleteuse, part of the coastal defences and aptly named Fort Vauban. In the northern Pas-de-Calais regions of France, evidence of Vauban's work is everywhere. The citadel in Montreuil was visually stunning. It has a commanding view over the countryside, and I wasn't too surprised to learn that Victor Hugo used the cobbled streets and houses of the city to illustrate his famous story, Les Misérables.
With the 14 on his deathbed, talking to his successor, his great-grandson, told him, "You shouldn't do like me. I have loved war and architecture or building set too much. So now we have inherited very beautiful things, but at that time people inherited poverty only." That, in my opinion, is one of the reasons of the future revolution, one of the reasons.
The French Revolution, and Maximilien de Robespierre, born here in Arras, became dictator. Underground passages used by merchants since the 10th century to store provisions and wine likely sheltered some of the liberal intellectual Girondists as they fled from the extremist Jacobins. Louis XVI, grandson of the Sun King, was executed in January 1793. For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.